then like their nominal was different. Is there a way we could set up a program to like have
Good question.
that set standard tolerance, but then change the nominal to where we need it to be?
So you can save a program with whatever you want, desired tolerances. We can then go in and you can edit a current program.
Okay.
So with this, when it pulls up, you just select
Yeah.
that program. You can go in, click on that specific measurement, and you can change the nominal and then just resave
I
it.
would say save it to something
Okay.
else. Okay.
Just name it a different name or
Yeah.
something, updated tolerance.
Right, because I mean, how many pins do we get that are the same shape? It's just,
But
All
just
kinds of
different,
them.
yeah,
yeah.
just subtle differences between them, but they all use the same standard tolerances. We can
Right.
just pull up that print, edit the nominals, check it, and then
Well,
same thing.
if the nominals are different, is that because the part itself is different? It is a larger or smaller
I
diameter.
mean, yeah, I guess technically
I would
it'd be-
make different programs.
You would
Okay.
make a different program.
If you want me to be honest with
Okay.
you. I thought you meant like if a customer comes back to you and they have different like a different rev every other week on a drawing or
No.
something. That's what I would do that for.
Okay.
But if it's like you get a lot of these pins in,
Usually it's just like a straight cylinder with like a head to it.
okay.
Yeah,
That
we,
is-
we get a few jobs that we have a lot, coming in, but not, we probably won't get this one exact pin again.
So, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We have vendors that make these,
Yep.
multiple suppliers. And some put a relief back here under the head. And you can see this one actually has a small one. Looks like it.
Yeah.
So that could be tapered up that shoulder unnecessarily.
Like it's not supposed to be there.
Right. If we had a program for this where it didn't show that and we ran one and it was the right diameter to a certain point and then it had a taper in there, would it signify that? Would it show that, whoops, this is not,
So what I would do is I would do just a line to line, and then I'd also do an angle measurement and make sure that angle measurement is within a certain tolerance. So if it does go within or out of that, it'll flag it for it. But
Yeah.
if it's only on one, is it only on one specific area, or could it be the whole diameter as a whole?
the whole diameter.
Then that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, if it was only in one specific area of this diameter, only way I could do that is if I had the rotary.
Right. Right.
And then I would just make sure that my reference angle, and then from there do a full scan, like 360 degree check on it, and then it would let me know.
So with the rotary, if we were to chuck up this part right here,
Yep.
it would identify the runout
Yeah.
in the diameter.
Yeah.
The single diameter, not from one to the other.
It would do the single diameter.
Okay.
Yep. With the runout, yeah, you have to have a reference, like a datum
Yeah.
of some sort. Which whatever it is, you just click. It's just the order that you click them in.
Right.
Yep. And there's runout and total runout.
Yeah.
One arrow, two arrows.
TIR.
I don't know the exact differences between
Okay.
them. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I go according to the prints. So like if a customer gives you something, they're like, hey, can you program this? I do it exactly what the print says. I tell them highlight exactly what you want on it, and we'll do it. So if you guys do have issues in the future with a program or don't know how to do something, there's myself, or we have our dedicated team in Chicago. That's on a queue. I believe they're 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. And their number is 1888 Keans.
Okay.
Option 2. That's all I remember. And then from there, they connect with you. You can email them your program. They can fix it, send it back. I can do the same thing. They can help you over the phone. They can walk you through step by step on how to do something or fix something.
Okay.
Just because I'm on the road 3 days a week, so I'm not always readily available.
Okay, so on this piece of equipment, can we see the distance from the top face to the head, inside head face? Can that be measured?
We could try.
In other words, one step to the next type thing.
On this one, probably not. On that one, I think we could.
Okay. Let's see it on that one since it's still plugged in. If we can't see it on this one.
I hope it's. I didn't turn it off, did I?
No.
I'm just curious. It's just a temperature thing. Yours will say that too.
You do.
Don't. That's not a bad thing.
Okay.
This has temperature sensors, so it'll let you know.
It is close to that heat and air source.
Yeah, I see the AC thing there. As long as it's within 43 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, you should be okay. But with this, the thing is,
There could be a radius in there, so be
yeah,
careful.
that's just. I mean, is that kind of so? What were you looking for exactly?
How thick is that part from here to here, or from here to the glass? And you can't measure the glass, so
So from here, you would probably just measure. You just want a distance.
Right.
You could go in with the height gauge as long as that hole is larger than 0.1 millimeters, or 1 millimeter, excuse me. We could go in, touch off, and then touch the glass. But the only other way you could do that is non-contact, which is a different thing that we sell, kind of like a tool maker's microscope version of this. We could do non-contact height measurements.
okay.
The only way I could do it that way is with that. Unless you guys had a correlating feature on the outside to go in on there, you know, that's the only way I could see it working.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, because you said the bottom of that
No, just this face
to that.
to this face.
I would just put it this way, do a line,
Yeah.
and then that's
Yeah.
how I would do it.
Okay.
I think this is overcomplicating things.
Reason I'm asking is because if we had an 8813 thick B plate, could we measure it? So a mold plate that's, I don't even know how much weight this will hold.
I wouldn't go more than 20 pounds.
That's probably about what it would be.
You could try it. I've measured gauge plates before on these. I don't like doing it, but it's possible. The only thing is I don't want the stage moving too much because you'll have to stitch it all together, and all that weight on those motors, I don't want it to wear it down. But
Yeah.
you guys, I mean,
When we're done here, I'll take you next door and show you the mold
I
plate.
think I saw that's so I walked in with a guy next door there, and then
Okay.
they pointed me somewhere over here, and that's how I found you guys.
Yeah.
But I saw they were making a bunch of different, look like mold plates of some
Right.
sort. So, yeah, depending on the size of it, obviously if it fits within that on the glass, you're good. I just be careful about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do pockets, so here's a top of block, and then we machine out a pocket this deep, and then the machine out a pocket this deep over here and over here and over here,
Yeah.
and holes everywhere. Oftentimes angles.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just wondering if the smaller plates could be measured on
Yeah, the
this.
smaller plates I don't think you'd have an issue with. Obviously, if it doesn't fit on there, I wouldn't measure it.
Right.
It's just not, I think, the best solution for that. That would be CMM all day.
7 7/8 by 7 7/8 by 1 3/8.
Yeah. Is that what you're measuring on the CMM most of the time, or the plates, or do you guys have other stuff that you?
No, it's really just plates.
Only plates is what we've measured. We want to measure other things, but we haven't. Okay, speaking of that, you can hold the.
But yeah, you saw the clarity difference between this one and that. It makes it it's a whole new world. It's
It
crazy.
is.
You guys sell really separate parts. Maybe the jury rig that's run like that.
Sadly, no.
Oh, you could have got that one right there.
The software ain't there.
I had
That's
one
the only
unwrapped
problem.
already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right there. You
This
should
has
tell
an
me
extra
to-
port on its controller tower too for the rotary. Yeah, there's one less on that one. They did it on purpose. But I have seen people try. Like people have their own rotaries that they've incorporated onto those. Like I said, with all the threaded holes on here. People like I said, all the medical companies, the multi-billion-dollar ones that make all the like bone screws and implants. They have like 50 of these at each of their locations, and each one is dedicated to a specific part number. And they have them all so that they're configured with different special fixtures. with
Oh,
each
wow.
one. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But with their engineers, they go in and it's like literally, I've never seen anything like it. But is this?
Yeah, so this is a critical feature, so we don't want any nicks in here. But we would like to know what this angle is, what this angle is, the depth from here to here, this diameter, the ID diameter at the top, the smallest, because that's tapered.
See a print?
No, with this part, I mean, you could do all your diameters like that.
Yep, okay.
You could get the angle that way.
Yep.
But the only thing is you just got to make sure that's fixtured correctly.
Yeah.
Right, square something.
As long as it's perpendicular. I don't know.
Right. So if we had a heavy enough magnetic
If
block.
if you had something that
to
could hold
hold it.
this like this,
Yep.
you could go in and it's just line to line. It's just a bunch of lines.
Yeah. Okay, what about
you
the
said
other
this
side?
ID, you'd have to put it on there like this. So you'd make a combined program,
Right.
which is
Oh, okay.
really easy to do.
After
You just
do-
make your two separate programs, go down to integration, and then combine multiple programs.
Okay.
And then you save that as its own separate thing. It's an own entity.
Okay.
So you'll rename it as combined part number or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
So flip that over for us, Alex. And what can we do with that?
well, you can get these diameters, this diameter. There's
What
not
about
much
that
I can.
radius down there?
No, that's outside of my realm.
Okay.
That's one thing you can't do.
Okay.
That's a CMM, the
Okay.
Renishaw probe.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I said, if you can do half the checks on this and then just save the last check for a CMM,
See,
the
that's what I
runtime
think.
is still going to be a heck of a lot faster.
Right.
No offense
we
to
can
CMMs in any
program
way,
because
shape.
we
I'm not trying to
always
bash it
get
in any
those
way,
for
but
No,
PPAPs.
they are more
Everything
accurate. I'll
in
give
the
them that.
program.
To a certain extent.
yeah, and they take a lot more skill to run. I will give it that at 110%. Did you have to go to the CMM like school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what
We
they
got
call it.
Hexagon.
So you went to Hexagon school?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. They're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 20 grand to go to the school or something.
Yeah, but
No, it
it's,
wasn't that much.
but it's
And-
Not not for what we had to learn.
Wow. You all learned how to do it?
3 of us.
I'm not there yet.
John's new.
I'm still pretty new.
Good for you, man. Yeah. It's like going back to
But
college.
it's coming.
I was told.
It
That's
was
coming. I
it was
mean, I didn't-
overwhelming, and like especially if you don't have no idea of what,
Yeah.
because I didn't have no idea. I was so overwhelmed. Like I was like, oh
I
my
believe
goodness.
it. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
not inexpensive by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just be careful with this. I mean, this is pushing it in terms of the Z height.
Right,
You just got
okay.
to be able to make sure that you can focus in on all these different things.
Okay.
What's the limit on the Z?
It's 75 millimeters, so just to give you a visual,
4 inches.
it's under 4 inches.
Under
Yeah.
4 inches.
That's
Okay,
the
that's
Z, but you got to be able to make sure that you can still focus
right.
from that.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, well, you'd have to focus on 3 different diameters, 3 different times, right?
Right.
yeah. So like, for
So
example,
you'd set your box for the,
I'm just curious to make sure that I can. So this looks pretty good from here.
yeah.
I'm allowed to hit my own machine. So yeah, we can get those.
Okay.
Um,
That angle though, that's the one we need. The smallest angle. Actually, both of them, but
both of these angles.
yeah.
I'm just curious.
See, I would have
Good
been
thing
ready
there's
to.
no glass plate on
I would
it.
have been ready to snatch the part.
Good, perfect. 0.4, 0.4. 5 degrees, I think.
30. Yep, that's
Oh,
right.
15 degrees aside.
That's
yeah.
it. That's just 30.
Yeah.
So I think it can be done if you get the right fixture to hold it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your diameters are just line to line.
Yes. So a magnetic.
You can use
angle
magnetic.
plate.
I mean, or anything that just holds this, or if you have like a pin that you can put through this to stand it up somehow. I
Right,
don't
and some
know.
gauge blocks on each side of it.
Yeah, that's sadly where it comes more into your guys' realm.
Right.
To
Well, I mean,
be
we
creative
could-
with it.
No, we couldn't lock it in a vise.
You just got to
'cause that
be
would raise it
careful
up.
though, because if this gets dropped on that glass and it breaks,
That's
that's the only
glass.
thing. So you just got to be cautious.
Right.
That thing pretty heavy.
Okay, so
It is a curved, like
it curved.
stone
Okay, I
mold.
thought it was tucked up because it looked like that went below this face
It can, yeah,
and still
a
didn't have
little
glass
bit,
on.
yeah. Like I said,
Right.
it's just all about focus. So
And that's got same travel on this one.
yeah, it should be 75. I'll double check. I thought it was.
Okay.
That's in inches, so it's technically 2.9528 inches. So I'm gonna say 3. So I don't know.
3 inches, but that's 4 or
Yeah,
5
ours
and a
way
half.
shorter.
So that's just to the focus.
Focus is plus or minus 10 millimeters in the regular camera, plus or minus 1.6 millimeters in the high
But
precision.
this diameter is 5.5 inches, right?
Yep.
So
Maybe I lied.
then from the top to where you focus is 75?
Yeah, and it looked like it was in focus when I put it there.
Yeah, it was.
So
yeah.
I don't think we'd have to worry about
Right.
it.
Okay.
Like I said, the biggest worry is just making sure when you put it on there, you
Right.
set it on there and
Right.
it doesn't fall.
Right.
If that falls, that'll break the glass.
We
100%.
don't do many of those, but when we get them, we got to do full inspection.
Yeah,
So,
I can do everything but that inside bottom radius.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And
Doing it like this.
that's what we got an issue with.
yeah. And we can put the CAD model on the CMM and try it, Joe.
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah.
Just pick up the this diameter is your datum, and the top of the oh, actually this diameter here, and then top face, and then CAD depth. All right, Alex.
Do you have any other questions?
World of knowledge there. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Was it helpful?
Very.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's
Yeah.
what we want. Last thing I need is you guys to have a $50,000 paperweight over there.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want that.
And ultimately, it would be nice to hang on to that one, send it down the street, get a new one down here.
Certainly use it.
So, you know,
The right person was
sharpen
here.
up that Toyota-thon.
Yeah,
Sharpen up that Toyota-thon and
if
get
you
some
guys-
numbers together. And
I was gonna say, if you guys are serious, I can give you a formal quote. If we get an accurate timeline, that'll determine the kind of pricing that I can give for you guys.
I'll say that is to be determined at this
Of course.
point.
Yeah, and I was just gonna ask too. The way that I normally do things with people, if I were to issue a quote, for example, is I usually do like a follow-up, like phone call or
Yeah, that's
Teams
fine.
meeting or something
Mhm.
like that.
Yep.
So that way, all the right people are in on it and are aware of everything that's going on. If
So
you wanna-
let's do this. Let's follow up phone call Monday, or
Okay.
when you get.
I was gonna say Monday should be good because I'm actually
Okay.
going on vacation starting tomorrow, but I forgot
Oh.
I come back Monday.
All right, good.
Uh,
Monday or Tuesday. By then, I'll be able to talk to Nick. I'm supposed to have a meeting with Angela tomorrow. I'll run it by her, the president of the company.
Yep.
And see what their timeline is.
That's
I
the biggest
I
thing on
can
our part.
give you that. You know.
Yeah, because if you guys are able to move, I understand with the whole budget and all that stuff. If it's
Right.
not till next year, that's totally fine. But if it is something where you guys have excess budget this year and can maybe move on something, we can get a lot more aggressive with pricing.
Okay.
I'm just going to be straight up with you.
All right. Add the trade-in,
Yeah.
with and without trade-in value.
Yep, we'll do that. And then I was going to ask you, I'm assuming, do you want kind of the same setup as that one?
Yes,
So you want
size-wise,
the bigger stage
Yes.
size? Do you want this included or no?
I think so.
You can add it on at any time after purchase. So this is $10,000. So
Okay.
if that is something that we can add on later, because maybe you don't see, justification for it now.
My concern is how you're going to hold something if you don't have that.
Right.
Because you got this magnetic angle
And I
or a V
Yeah,
block.
totally.
Today.
Um,
The fixtures are a lot less expensive than the rotary.
yeah.
Fixtures are a few hundred. That's
Hold
10,000.
that
So
on there and keep
that's just
straight.
me.
Right. Yeah.
If you want it, go for it.
I'm definitely about to look for it.
And that's locked in at that Z. This is not adjustable.
Correct. The only thing that moves are the cameras. Everything else is a solid state.
Yeah.
So, and then like I said, the only other thing is the height gauge for 3D step measurements. So if you wanted, you could do like on this part, you can do like a overall height,
Okay.
step height, you can do flatness, flatness, flatness.
You could not do point, and get an angle
Angle?
dimension.
I can do that with the light probe, but it's kind of difficult.
Okay.
I'd rather just turn it on its side and do the line.
The reason I'm asking is because if this is flipped over, would it fit down there and measure this angle?
Yeah.
No.
I would, no, I don't think it would, to be honest with you. But yeah, the only other thing would be the height gauge.
Okay, so show this as an accessory
Yep.
on the quote.
Optional,
Right.
yeah. So
Cost
then-
if we purchase with, and cost if you purchase 3
Yeah.
months from now.
So if you got like everything, every bell and whistle, you'd probably be in the neighborhood of 85,000. That's just list price.
Okay.
You know, if you take this off, that jumps down to 75 right then and there. Trade-in value, obviously, I don't know the ranges of them
Right.
off the top of my head, but
Gotcha.
I can ask. And
We could say that's hardly used.
yeah,
it's low miles.
low miles. I can
Definitely
attest
low.
to that.
Right.
Low miles.
And yeah, I can get all that stuff sent over to you. Let's see. I'll do that on Monday then. I think that'll be the best because I'll be meeting with my manager. Will be in town too, so
Okay.
he'll be able to help me break everything down a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then if we want to schedule something, maybe like I don't know, like 1 o'clock on Monday for a follow up call.
Let me close this.